They called it the graveyard of empires, a land where Alexander the Great's army stumbled, where the British Empire collapsed, where the mighty Soviet Union broke apart, and where even the United States, with all its technology and power, could not claim victory. But the question is, why? Why has Afghanistan, a small, mountainous nation, defeated every global superpower that ever tried to control it? Today, we'll uncover the hidden truth behind the phrase, Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires. Why every superpower failed here. So sit tight, because what you're about to hear is not just history. It's a warning every empire ignored. Afghanistan has no sea access, limited fertile land, and harsh terrain. Yet, for thousands of years, it has been at the center of world politics, not because of what it has, but because of where it is. It lies between South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East, a strategic crossroads for trade, religion, and power. Every empire that looked east or west had to pass through Afghanistan, and that's where their nightmare began. In 330 BCE, Alexander the Great entered Afghanistan after defeating the Persian Empire. He expected a quick victory, but what he found was endless resistance. Tribal warriors, fierce terrain, and local revolts forced him to stay years longer than planned. Even Alexander's own generals warned him, "You can conquer their cities, but not their hearts." And they were right. The moment he left, rebellion flared again. Afghanistan became the first empire's grave, not in defeat on the battlefield, but in the slow erosion of control. Centuries later, the British Empire repeated the same mistake. In 1839, British troops marched into Kabul, installed their own ruler, and thought it was over. But they underestimated one thing: Afghan pride. In 1842, after a local uprising, the British army began retreating from Kabul. Out of 16,000 soldiers and followers, only one man, Dr. William Britton, reached Jalalabad alive. One survivor, the rest wiped out in the snow-covered mountains. It was one of the greatest military disasters in British history. The British tried again and again, 3 wars in total, and though they won battles, they never won the country. They learned what Alexander did centuries earlier. You can invade Afghanistan, but you cannot hold it. Then came the Soviets. In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan to support a communist government. They came with tanks, fighter jets, and more than 100,000 troops. But once again, Afghanistan's terrain, tribes, and traditions turned against them. Villagers became guerrilla fighters. The Mujahideen, supported by the United States and Pakistan. What the Soviets thought would be a quick operation turned into a decade-long war. By 1989, 15,000 Soviet soldiers were dead. The economy was collapsing, morale was destroyed, and just 2 years later, the Soviet Union itself fell apart. Once again, Afghanistan had claimed another empire. Then came America, the modern superpower with unmatched technology, intelligence, and resources. After the September 11th attacks in 2001, the U.S. invaded Afghanistan to destroy Al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban. In the beginning, it seemed successful. The Taliban was ousted, and a new government was formed. But the deeper America went, the more it repeated the mistakes of history. Afghanistan is not a country that can be ruled from outside. Its power lies in local tribes, traditions, and geography, not in political systems imported from foreign lands. As years passed, corruption spread, and local support faded. The U.S. and its allies spent more than $2 trillion, lost over 2,400 soldiers, and after 20 years withdrew almost the same way the British and Soviets did. The Taliban returned, the government collapsed overnight, and Afghanistan once again reminded the world why it is called the graveyard of empires. If you're finding this story eye-opening, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, because we reveal truths that textbooks never mention. But let's dig deeper. Why does this keep happening? What makes Afghanistan so unconquerable? First, its geography. Afghanistan's mountains, like the Hindu Kush Range, are natural fortresses. Foreign armies can capture cities, but they can't hold the mountains, where local fighters vanish and strike again. The narrow passes and rocky valleys make tanks and air support nearly useless. It's a land built for defense, not invasion. Second, its tribal structure. Afghanistan isn't unified nation. It's a collection of fiercely independent tribes with their own languages, leaders, and loyalties. No invader can control all of them at once. If one region is conquered, another rises in rebellion. That's why even when foreign powers install governments, they never truly control the people. Third, its culture and faith. For Afghans, defending their land is not just politics, it's honor, tradition, and religion. When an outsider invades, even rival tribes unite against a common enemy. This unity in resistance has defeated some of the strongest armies in history. And finally, time itself. Empires measure wars in years. Afghanistan measures in generations. Where foreign powers grow tired, Afghans remain patient. They can wait decades to reclaim what's theirs. From Alexander's horsemen to America's drones, every superpower thought it could succeed where others failed. And every one of them left behind the same lesson written in dust and blood. You can occupy Afghanistan, but you can never rule it. The phrase graveyard of empires isn't just poetic, it's historical truth. Each invader lost more than soldiers. They lost belief, morale, and global power. After Alexander, his empire fragmented. After the British Wars, the empire's image of invincibility cracked. After the Soviet War, the USSR collapsed. And after America's withdrawal, the world began questioning the power of modern intervention itself. Afghanistan is not just a land, it's a mirror that shows every empire its limits. It exposes arrogance, overconfidence, and the illusion of control. That is why historians say, empires don't die in Afghanistan. They realized they were never immortal. But despite centuries of war, the Afghan people endure. They rebuild from ashes, replant in deserts, and retell stories of resistance. Their identity is carved from struggle, and their mountains remember every invader that thought they could stay. Even today, when the world looks at Afghanistan, it sees poverty and conflict. But look closer, you'll see resilience, courage, and a history unmatched in defiance. Afghanistan is proof that power isn't measured by wealth or weapons, but by will. So next time you hear someone call it the graveyard of empires, remember, it's not just a nickname. It's the story of how one small nation stood firm while giants fell around it. If this video made you see history in a new light, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and help others understand what truly happened in Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires. Why every superpower failed here. 4 more hidden histories, forgotten wars, and real geopolitical lessons. Visit our channel, because history doesn't just tell stories, it reveals patterns. And in those patterns lies the truth every empire should have known.